I'm Justina. Pardon my accent, I come from a tiny country called Lithuania from Eastern Europe. If you would look it up on the map, you could see that it's kind of a heart shape, just like Africa, but tiny, tiny. And some people say that it's heart of Europe, a tiny heart of Europe in this case. At some estimates, Lithuania is at the geographical center of Europe. Well, depending on from where you count. And I'm actually standing not far from there. You know, probably you never heard of Lithuania before, or if you heard, it's very little. And I'm not surprised. It's very small, it's in the middle of nowhere, right? But the strange thing is that I don't know too much about it either. I lived here all my life, except a few trips abroad, and I didn't see all of it yet. And you could hardly drive more than 400 kilometers from one end to another. This might sound like a joke to you if you come from a slightly bigger country. But why we are not interested in seeing our own land before we go further? Let's find out. So I started traveling around Lithuania, and the first place I visited had something written on its walls. It was a museum. The quote said, "The biggest shame is not to know your land, and an even bigger shame is when foreign land interests you more than your own." That's a quote by Władysław Syrakomla, Polish-Lithuanian writer who lived in 19th century Vilnius, the city I live in, and I have never heard of this man before I actually got out of my home and started traveling around. How ironic it is that the first place I would visit would have this quote written on the wall in huge letters. I went to Syrakomla's house without knowing much of the man, and I left without knowing much more either. Yet, I took something with me that day. That thing was the knowledge that there is more to my country than I thought I know. Just like Syrakomla described, I was looking far, far away with amazement and not seeing what's right in front of me. As long as I remember, I wanted to travel, see new places. I played geography games with my father as a kid. Thinking of all these cool countries, I learned their names and capitals. Perhaps it's not just me, especially in the internet age, where you can see every part of the world live online. Perhaps it's way more of us who look far instead of near. Seeing the world is great on its own. That's the benefit of a modern world. That's exactly what I'm doing now, showing Lithuania to you. Yet, we must not forget that we can satisfy our wanderlust just by getting outside our backyard, a few kilometers away. You might say, "Oh, but there is nothing around here." And you could be right if you live in a desert. Then even a desert has its own cool places. I lived in one for a while. I found cool places there. But most of the time, there is something near you. I certainly didn't think that there was anything of interest in the direction I went to Syrakomla's house. I didn't think that I would even find something interesting in that museum. But I went anyway, and it inspired me to make this video. You never know what you might find or what thoughts that would bring to you. On the other hand, let's be true here. It doesn't have to be fancy castles or gorgeous beaches to be worth all of our attention. For most of us, these places are far away, or you went there already, if we were nearby. There is a beautiful and famous castle near Vilnius too, and I went there countless times. Well, it's worth it. But I don't really learn something new when I visited the 100th time. The point is, we can learn something new about our homeland every day. Let's not forget that. Thanks to Syrakomla for showing me the sign that I chose the right path to go. Lithuania has 60 municipalities. I'm gonna do my best to travel all of them, document it, and make videos about them. So if you like this idea, seeing more of this tiny country, tiny heart of Europe, subscribe for more later. Thanks for watching. Ikke!